and welcome to the Awakened Journey. My name is Debbie Wilson, and I am here with the beautiful Grace Solaris. I am so grateful to have you here with us today, Grace. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great. I'm feeling just overspilling love, you know. I guess maybe you can even feel it or see it. I am feeling, overspilling with love, though the energies are very tense. We all feel it. Now the full moon and the eclipse, and which we will maybe touch upon later. Yes. And so I feel very good. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. I wanted to just do a quick bit of housekeeping, just because this is a very powerful time that we're in right now. And not only just with the eclipse coming up and the energies, those who are sensitive are feeling it well before the actual eclipse hits. And now we're doing all of this expansive work through this retreat. And so I really want to make sure that people are doing really good self-care. It's really important to make sure that you're drinking enough water, especially as you're doing these activations, and that you're getting enough rest, that you're grounding yourself. I'm a prime example of someone who got caught up in all of this stuff yesterday with the retreat launch and ended up with a migraine last night. So it's really, really important that we all do the great self-care. And one of the things that you were mentioning before we came on here was about the breath and the importance of the breath. So do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, the importance of the breath. I mean, the breath is God's greatest gift on us, because it always brings us back to 0.0, bring us back to God, to stillness, to 0 point. You know, when we are, because when we are stressed, when we are, you know, whether it's mental stress, emotional stress, or whatever, when we are stressed, we tend to get into our head. When we get into our head, we get unaligned, we disalign from our heart, and we often even unground ourselves. We simply slip out of the body because it's we can't handle the stress. We don't feel well, so we kind of, and we in past and future, and we just get fragmented. Yes, so we are not really present. And that's really important, right? To really be calm, to be centered and focused, and to transcend all this anxiety, we need to be fully present in our heart space. And that's where the breath can really help us to really recenter and just calm down and just be present, because it's all about being present here and now. That's where you can find that stillness, that calm space within the core of your being, where nothing can shake you. You know, it can scratch on the surface, but it's just like you become really, you know, firm and steady in your heart, and when you are aligned with God, you are grounded and aligned. Nothing can really shake you. You know. Do
you have like a process? Do you have a process of that, of practice that you do for that to help people?
Yes, I have different ones. Yeah, there's so many breath exercises. What is important is that you breathe through your nose, in and out of the nose. It is because there are different systems. I can't remember the technicalities to it, but it really calms your mind. Not use, as they say in yoga, the mouth is for kissing and eating, but the nose is for breathing. So, but one is good that you take a deep breath into your heart and really feeling it coming in through your nostrils. And then just when you have, and really make sure that you are breathing right down, and you can really like following it and down to your belly, so that you really, because that's also a wonderful way to ground yourself. When you really follow it with your consciousness, that you fill up your body, and then just hold it just a bit, and then let go. because when you just hold it that bit, a little moment, you come into that stillness, and then you can let go of whatever stress or whatever concerns you have, just letting that go out with the breath. And that's so powerful. And I mean, if you're really doing conscious breathing, you can really relieve yourself from stress or fear, anxiety, all this stuff in very short time. I mean, it takes minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah, they say deep breathing exercises are phenomenal for relieving stress, and really, as you're saying, to get into your body, because a lot of times we are out of our body when we're feeling that, we're in the stress, or we're just out there someplace, and it's coming back in. And by doing that with the breath, that is absolutely amazing. And it's so important that we're really aware.
Yeah, and that's why conscious breathing is also, not even doing exercise, but because and it's also the breath is the like taking in the Holy Spirit and doing it consciously, because then you will be mindful, and you will also be aware of, because sometimes we even are not aware of when we get into the head. Before we know of it, we already, and then we get anxious, and we didn't even realize that we also got out of our body. So if you do the conscious breathing as much as possible throughout the day, or just taking maybe every now and then, just check in, how is my breathing, and do conscious breathing, you bring yourself back into 0 point and into your center. So that's
that's beautiful, because if you get too far gone, right, you tend to be, then it's even harder to come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's beautiful.
So taking that inner checking in, now and then, to just make sure, because as I said, we tend just sometimes to not even be aware of it, in our busy day, so that's a good way to check in.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I want to take a couple seconds. I want to say hi to Christine, hi to Eartha and Ava. I'm so excited that you're here with us, and I can tell there's others who are here, but I don't know exactly who they are. But hello to all of you, and thank you so much for joining us. We love having you here. I want to touch base on a couple things. So in our earlier conversation, hi Susan, we talked about star seeds. We talked about finding the healer within yourself and healing the inner children, and that is such an important topic. And it's been brought up in some comments and some emails about the inner children and how important that is in healing the trauma, because maybe if you're doing it in smaller pieces and you're not trying to heal one overwhelming experience of trauma, and you're able to see it at different points in your life, different phases, you can deal with each one of those separations.
Yes.
And it's not as daunting of a process. Would you agree?
Yes, exactly. Also because they each carry each of these inner children. As I say, I don't speak only about the inner child, but the inner children, because they are various aspects that had various experiences, because obviously a little one with 2 or 3 years old doesn't understand a thing, what's going on. It senses things, yes, but it still hasn't developed the sense of for example, its own free will and that. So when you go beyond 3, like 4, 5, 6, then it starts to get its own will and that. So it has a totally different experience of things. It starts to think, it starts to see itself separate, from the parents. So in various stages, the inner child will experience the trauma in a different way and will develop different wounds, because in different stage, it will find different strategies to navigate, to try to survival technique, so to say.
Right.
If it's living in permanently in a traumatic or toxic environment, it
Right.
will always seek to find some way out, just some way, how can I survive this? And it kind of subconsciously find means to do so, and often it includes like, okay, because all we seek, basically, the nature is that we are seeking love. We come
Right.
from love, we seek love, and if that's compromised, if that's not there, we will do anything almost to get that love. So we sacrifice ourselves, we
Right.
maybe numb ourselves, we disguise ourselves, we compromise ourselves on so many levels to please others, to get acknowledgement, to harvest that love. And unfortunately, that creates very, very deep wounds, and that then develops, through the stages within, and so of course it's being the the different aspects of the inner child. They all add on each other, and so the thing is, you have to approach them individually, because each of them need different things. One maybe needs safety, one needs direction, one needs the feeling of being just held, just simply being held. Maybe, the very small one, it just wants the safety, just wants to be held, and
Right.
so, often just that piece of the work, it brings so much healing, to finally, for the inner child, feel, oh my God, I'm seen, and it can
Right.
feel the love. So just for us to connect with it and say, I'm here for you, and just hold it. Just hold it. You don't need to say much, but just connect. Just connect.
That's so beautiful. It really is. And, I think in some ways, so how can you help someone with that, Grace? So how is it you're able to discern how many fractured points there are? Is that correct? So that you can see how many aspects of the inner
Yeah.
children that there are?
Yeah. I can, I'm highly intuitive, I'm clairsentient, clairvoyant, so they show themselves in different ways.
Mm.
Yes. Some of them are more verbally, and sometimes you also have to find a way to reach the inner child, because it's not always, happy to go into discussion with you, because it kind of, you turned my back on you, so I'm not just, because you're just turning up now. So it can be kind of hesitant, maybe even because it's afraid, or it just is lacking trust. So it's like
Right.
finding different entrances, so I use my spiritual cities, my intuition, and we can either sometimes, first of all, of course, we call in the session all the inner children aspects. We ask them to be present with us, and we tell it first, we invite it to come in. We are telling it, you can be safe here, and we are here to help you heal and release you from all pain. And so first, it's just like kind of creating that safe space and letting it know, or them know, that we are here to heal it. So kind of first calling in and addressing it, and then invite it to just share, speak out, voice, express its feelings, whatever it keeps, whatever is unspoken, whatever is unexpressed, to just give it full permission and just invite it to, in whatever way. You may scream, dance, jump, whatever, it's all good. There's no restrictions, and just allow it just to finally be seen and heard, and express itself in whatever way it needs to. And
Right.
then we can go into communicate and ask it also. I often use that, what is it that I can give you right now that can help you feel safe or help you feel healed? Again, depending on maybe you've already got information about what is the core wound of that aspect. And then you can say, okay, you're feeling unworthy. What is that I can give you right now so that you can feel loved, and you know that you know, you don't need to earn to be loved. You don't need to deserve. You don't need to perform. You are lovable as you are. And then sometimes, you know, it can be simple things like you want a lullaby, you just want to be held, or like you know, trust or faith or whatever, different thing. Or sometimes it comes like you know, I wanna have a unicorn, you know, or whatever. You know, it can be all sorts of things, you know. Or it can just be a certain energy or color that just helps it to heal or calm, or crystal, whatever. And so really tuning in and allow it to speak, and then give it whatever it needs. And then part of the inner child healing is also very important to release it from any of these subconscious contract that it made. You know, maybe to survive, it has agreed to sacrifice itself, to compromise itself, to be there for others. Often the inner child is required, or I mean, it's not often not spoken, but often it feels like it's expected of the inner child to take responsibility for their parents. It has to mother their child, their parents, because they don't take responsibility, even things like that. Or it has to compromise itself because it needs to be to support, if say they have a lot of pain, it carries their pain, or it helps them through some, or maybe it's the mediator, whatever it is. The mediator, if the parents have got a lot of fights, and you know, if there's a trauma in the family, so whatever role it takes over so we need to clear those contracts which are made subconsciously. That's very important, to clear cords. And especially if you have, like, sometimes a mother can be which is very often if she's very maybe anxious and you know, and not taking a lot of responsibility, she will rely a lot on the inner child, you know, rely on it in the sense of emotional support. And so she will there will be very tight bond. Yes,
That's really important.
Sometimes we go in when I'm guided to, and say, and especially sometimes when she rely on you, the mother, or also sometimes the mother can be extremely dominant. Then you need to go in and cut the umbilical cord, the energetical umbilical cord. It's amazing what that does. And you really, you of course, you say first, you do it gently, but it's just, it doesn't serve either the child or the mother. And even though you are adults and all, there still is energetical kind of feeding, energetically. And that's off when you see in the adult life, the children, they compromise themselves, you know, they sabotage themselves and all that stuff, because they always put their own needs and desires, and sometimes they don't even know, what do I need? What do I feel? They have just numbed themselves so much that they don't even have an idea. So that's why it's very important to clear the umbilical cord and any other energetical cords to the chakras and all that.
You know, that's fascinating, because, you know, we always talk, you always hear people talk about how so many things that you're dealing with as an adult go back to your childhood. But I've never heard anyone say that there are these contracts, whether they're known or not known. I've never heard anyone say that, but that makes absolute sense, because you think about some of the behaviors that you have as an adult and how you just took on the role of this was what you were supposed to do. And yet it is in some type of a contract, and you're wondering, why can't I release this so easily? It makes sense if it's a contract.
Exactly. because when the child make that contract, it's made, it's in the middle of a trauma. There's a lot of strong energy, and it just like wants to survive. So of course, this is done subconsciously. I mean, mostly the child is not even aware of it. So we always say we are clearing all contracts that are made knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah.
Past, present, future, for all incarnations, realities, parallel realities, realms, and dimensions. So we cover everything, because often also things, they are even things we bring over from ancestral lines or from our previous lives that we have with the person. So we always cover it like past, present, future. And because we are often repeat them in the next lives that we've shared together. So that's also important to also bring that in. But
Wow.
the contracts, so it's not, I mean, the healing itself, connecting in and bringing the healing is good, but it's just like, sometimes they say, yeah, but I did heal, and why doesn't I? No, because you need to clear the contracts.
Right.
You're still in that behavioral pattern, your thought patterns, your behavioral patterns, it's all tied up with that contract. You need to free yourself from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
And also free the other one. And what I also say always is, in cases of taking responsibility and that, or when you have agreed to take on the pain of others, you literally have to hand it back to them. Right. Hand it back to them, and then really state, I am no longer available. I love you. I set you free now, but it's up to you now to take on responsibility, because you don't serve the other one. They have to learn to take responsibility. You're not
Right.
there to compromise yourself. They have, we each have to be sovereign beings, and we each have our guides and teams of light that are supporting. You're not letting anyone down. You're simply just handing back responsibility and giving them the it's actually a gift for growth. That because as long as you carry other ones and you take responsibility, that you don't support them in their growth, you're actually on your own growth. Just setting them free also to say, I no longer hold you accountable, also for my being a victim. Yeah, because as long as you say, oh, it's your fault, yeah, it happened in the childhood, you didn't love me enough, or you abused me, or whatever was the case, if you still hold them as your abuser, just in the mind, you still hold yourself as a victim.
Exactly. That's incredible. That's a really important connection to make, because a lot of times people don't see that and what that does to yourself. So, yes, when we've gone through these really traumatic experiences, the things that have happened to us are horrible. They have been damaging. But when we hold ourselves in that position, we're also doing ourselves that injustice as well, because now we have put ourselves in a position where we cannot be our full expression because we've minimized ourselves because of what's happened.
Exactly. Yeah, we take on the same patterns. If we have been judged or being belittled or put down, we take over all those voices. We start ourselves to repeat and say the same things, belittling ourselves, condemning ourselves, judging ourselves, really making ourselves so small, and because we have, and that's when, because when these, it's like thought forms. Yeah, when you have repeatedly heard things again and again from your parents or one of the other ones or whoever it was, these thought forms, they start to get so powerful, because for every time we repeat them, we amplify them, and they start to get so powerful that they turn into what you name elementals. They are like almost like an entity. It's like it becomes an aspect with its own life, with its own agenda, and its agenda becomes just to belittle you, to judge you. It's just like so programmed, and that's just, that aspect just keeps on doing it, and it will keep on doing it until you will become aware of it and heal it, clear the contract, and that aspect of yourself to really integrate it into yourself, so it no longer needs to, because it's just making aware of itself and saying, hey, I'm here, you know. And so if you have an angry aspect of you, it just wants your attention to finally be heard, because
Right.
it wasn't heard as a child, you know,
Right.
and so on.
Yeah. And
So
that's so
there
important.
are many ways to work with the inner child, many
Right.
ways.
This
Yeah.
is such an important topic. It really is. I want to get, there was a question that came through this morning. So first of all, hi, Wendy. Hi, Karen. Thanks for letting us know that you're here. So Elizabeth asked this morning, what are some simple ways to connect to my higher power? Is there a daily ritual that I can do? Some days I feel connected and one with the universe, and other days it feels really far and even forced. And she's thanking you in advance.
Yes. Yeah, then we come back to the heart, because you can't connect with your higher power, with your higher self, if you are not present. It's all about present. And so in those moments when you feel like, it's because mostly we are all over the place.
Mhm.
We're too much in the head. We are too much in the left brain, you know, like, the thing is, and that's what many of us have to learn, because we have conditioned to be very much in this masculine energy, where we are kind of, we have to be in control, we have to structure, to organize. And often if we have wounds on the inner child, even more so, because the inner child wants to be ahead of time, to avoid, that doesn't that happen. Oh, my father might explode now. I have to walk on eggshells.
Oh, yes.
So you're a lot in the mind. You're a lot like, oh, I have to be ahead. I have to read the energy, always be one step ahead. You know, so that means you again, you disalign, you get in the head, because you always have to be in control of the situation. Yeah. And then you get out of your body, you get fragmented, you get out of place, and then the higher power of you, your higher self, cannot reach you, because you're not there.
Right.
It's basically, you are not there with your attention. Your higher power is always there. Yeah. Your higher power, you don't have to go out there to, come in. It's the omnipresence of love. It is within every cell of your being, the omnipresence of your I am presence, your higher self. Yes, when you learn to really be present in the body, living from your heart, then it will be really solidly grounded, and you embody it. That's what the ascension is about. It will descend into your body. So again, it's being aware of, was it Elizabeth? Elizabeth, be aware when you are, when you have these moments where you feel like, I don't feel it and I'm all over the place. Just take a few moments to calm yourself and really come into your heart, center yourself into your heart. Use the breath to be centered in your heart, because it is deep inside in your inner sanctum of your heart. That's where your higher power is. It's always present there. It's just you was not there, so you don't see. You're like out there, woo,
right.
And so you cannot feel it. You disalign because of stress, or you have concerns and this and that in daily life. So it's really, stopping, realigning yourself into your heart space. Use the breath, calm your breath, and center yourself in your heart. And then you can actually address that higher aspect. You can call in, if whatever you want to call it, your higher self, the divine power in me, the higher power in me, whatever you call it. It hears you instantly. You can't, it can't miss it, and you can't miss it if you're both. But you have to, the place where you meet, where you're one, is in your heart space. That's the only place you can be one. Yeah. And then you can really feel this higher aspect by really tuning in there and quieting yourself, coming into your heart space. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope that that can help. So you can literally just call it from your heart. Just call in, I'm calling my higher self now to be fully present with me now. Shower me with your love. Let me feel your essence in every cell of my being. Fulfill me, expand yourself so that I may feel one with you. So you can just talk with it like you would talk to anyone. Yeah.
Oh.
And open your heart. So this is like a telepathic connection. And you know, there's nothing you need to know how to communicate with your higher self. You just speak from your heart as if you would speak with anyone else, you know, like speaking to me or to you or whatever. So, but it is the grounding, being centered and focused in the heart. You need to be present.
You know, that's so beautiful. It really is. And, you know, Grace, bringing it back to the childhood stuff again. I mean, you know, you just can't dismiss the impact that the childhood has and all of these different aspects and segments, and, you know, that it is so important to do that work. I mean, inner child work, I'm a strong proponent of that. So it's very important.
It's very, very important. And it's just like, and the thing is, it will, you know, you will never find true peace, you know, if you don't do the work. It takes courage. It takes courage if you've had deep trauma, and we tend maybe to avoid things, you know, because it's just too harmful, and also because we are scared. But often, you know, that fear, the best way to disarm fear is to face it. Because as long as you're trying to run away, you turn yourself, you know, trying to resist it, it persists. It's like it draws you to it even more so, you know.
Right, it's like a magnet.
Yeah, like a magnet. Yeah. So it's really, you know, just again, when you are in your heart space, because the fear is when you're out there. But if you're in your heart space and you're centered and you feel one with your divine power, then you feel safe. And when you feel safe, then you can look the fear straight into the face. Yes. And just say, I embrace you. I'm here to receive the gift, because on the other side of fear, there is love. Yes. And often because we've tried to resist it, we have made it, you know, like it into something huge, something that is overpowering, that there's no way we dare. But often when we just allow and trust that, and you know, and know that we are safe, and that's where the grounding and the focus in the heart center is needed. Because when you're really grounded in your heart and you are in that safe space, I would say, I'm telling you, you trust everything. You just open up, and because you will feel safe. And when you feel safe, you will also trust enough to open up and to actually look the fear into face. And you will realize that often that fear, afterwards you say, I thought it was much bigger, you know, I made it into something huge, you know, an ant into an elephant maybe. But it was just because of actually rejecting it. It's getting much bigger. You had to really see it for what it is. And as I always say, okay, worst case scenario, what could happen to me? Okay, I look it into the eye. Okay, what could happen? I can still breathe afterwards. I'm still alive. I'm still here. You know. So yeah.
That's so important.
It's really being aware of the fear. What is it actually trying to tell me? What is this actually about? You know?
Right. And, you know, it's interesting when you look at the things that you're fearful of. Now, yes, there are certain things that you're being guided to be fearful of that, yes, you should be fearful of. Like, don't be jumping off of bridges. Don't be doing those kinds of things. That's fear that's meant to keep you safe. There's other fears that you have that, you know, are coming from places that you probably don't even understand where the fear originates. And yet you can suddenly have this, you know what, I'm going to just push through this. And you get to the other side. And I'm going to use myself as an example right here. I did not want to be live on camera. Did not. It was a fear. It was
Tell
I
me
didn't want to,
about it.
yes, I didn't want to be seen. It's the fear of being seen. It goes back a long time, those kinds of things. But I did it the first time and I love this. I'm having a
Yeah.
wonderful time doing these. So
Yes.
you never realize you have this fear, but you're not really sure why you have it or
Yeah.
what's behind it. And then you push through it and you're on the other side of it going, why did I let that hold me back for so long?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Why do you
until you look,
made so huge issue out of it? And again, it's often actually your fears. That's where your greatest potential is.
I
That's
love
where your
that, Grace.
greatest potential is. Yes. So when you really commit to saying, okay, I'm just taking, because as you say, often you're unaware exactly what is it about. And
Right.
then again, it's often tied up with the inner child wounds.
Exactly. We're back there
And
again.
so, but if you identify and you say, okay, I'm open to see it, I'm open to feel it, and you look it into the eyes, and then you can actually see, okay, maybe it isn't that big, and you suddenly understand it, why it's there. You become conscious about it. And
Right.
then that's a way of disarming it. And then you can step out of your comfort zone and did like you did. I mean, you are not only afraid of it, and then you welcomed it and saying, okay, I can do this, and I can even enjoy it, and I can even start to make this show, and like you're doing now, such great job too. And you created this platform. It's just amazing when you think where you came from, and now you're serving in this wonderful way. That's really an amazing example. How
Thank you.
this and you do it so beautifully. And I mean, everything, also how you organize everything, I'm just very impressed. So thank you so much. And I can tell you, I've had similar issues about going on camera. I used to get early on, years back, I got a lot of invitations. I just kept on rejecting them, and I made excuses like, oh, I'm too busy, la 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 la, all these excuses. And then at a point I just said, okay, now I have to, what's gonna happen? I've got to try it. What, again, I ask myself, what is worst case scenario? Maybe someone thinks I'm stupid, maybe someone don't agree with me, so what? So what? I can't change the way people think of me, actually, whether I'm on camera or not, or
Correct.
People will always judge you. So like kind of detaching from what others think of you or expect of you, you set yourself free, right? So so I also started to say yes to interviews, and then they came more and more. And then I was a bit critical about, when do I do it? But then I really just expanded and could allow it more and more. And then I was, for example, interviewed on another platform at Todd Medina, some know Todd Medina. And in the start, I was aware that I was on camera. And I got on several times. I actually forgot, oh my God, I'm on camera. I'd actually forgotten it. And that's the same with you now. We've only been on once now. And because I just feel so, I love sharing sacred space with you. I actually forgot about it, just for some moments. I forgot, oh, we actually on camera, because it's just like, I feel so relaxed and enjoy it that actually it's no issue,
Exactly. So, I understand. I agree. Yes. Well,
yeah.
I want to briefly say hello to Lori, hello to Michelle. And Michelle is saying, thank you so much for the support and the meditations that you offered. And Sheena, hello to you also. And Linda was here yesterday and was commenting that she has been struggling with teenagers and having some fear around her son's manipulation and aggression towards her, and that it kind of has her frozen a bit, and it scares her to stand up to him because he's never happy with her responses. So, that's a topic obviously that we can address a little further. And then also Lainey is saying that her inner children feels so safe with both of us. Watching this live has created even more excitement and hope for her upcoming session with you, Grace. She senses that you have a very strong, loving maternal instinct and I am a compassionate, passionate being, and I honor what an effective, talented host and communicator you are. So thankful to be a part of this group. Wow. Thank you so much. You're all
Thank you
so
much.
lovely, and so grateful for all of your love and your kindness in return. But do you have anything, Grace? Let's get back to Linda and what she was saying. Do you have any advice you could give her regarding this feeling of being in fear with her son and his responses to what she says in parenting him?
Okay, so if I understand it right, her son is
He's a
kind of,
teenager.
a teenager, yeah, just
Right. And
repeat again.
she's in fear sometimes about the way he can be aggressive towards her and manipulating. And so she freezes in the process of her parenting because of the interaction with him being somewhat overwhelming.
Mm. You know what I would, if it was my son, I would just, without any fear, without any guilt projection or everything, and just saying, kind of bringing it up, not being afraid to show that she's vulnerable. I mean, not to seek, of course, not to project shame or guilt on him, but just saying, I think we could find a better way to communicate. I know maybe you don't feel supportive, so I will look at myself and see. So it's also, often, when children rebel and all that, it's just because they don't feel heard, and I also think, I've also having 2 children, and we are not always perfect as mothers. We want to be perfect, yes, but we are not always. We also sometimes lose our nerve, and we get loud or this and that, but I think it's important. And it's very important for the children, and now I'm speaking more general, but maybe she can apply it to her son, that we are very genuine, we are very genuine, not I mean, genuine in a way, not just trying to be perfect and just, I'm the parent, so I have to kind of, but also show our vulnerability.
Right.
Yes. And just being very genuine, and so really connecting with your son, and really take time for him so that he feels heard. Yeah, because maybe he feels so it doesn't even say you're doing something wrong now or anything. It could be even back to something that happened when he was a child. So you can invite him to say, why are you getting angry with me? Is there something that I could change, or what do you feel in that moment? So invite him, to give him space to express himself.
Right,
And
recognizing what he's feeling and saying,
recognizing,
it appears as though you're upset, or something I've said has caused you upset. And, can you explain that to me? Or can you also tell me how can I support you?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So let me know. So I know if it's something that I could change to be more supportive. But it's just like he feels heard, and to give him that opportunity to share with you.
Right.
Yeah, Linda, that's very important. And I think that can then open up for more healthy ways to exchange. So that you will avoid those extreme situations where tension builds up, and then and it's also, and when you freeze, obviously, then maybe he feels okay now. He maybe even also feel like you're not there for him then, where you actually want to be there for him, but you're kind of so afraid that you're doing something wrong.
Right.
So maybe also again, being vulnerable and just letting him know, that I'm also willing to look at me, so that he don't think that he's wrong, because he will obviously, when he's kind of being maybe a bit abusive, he knows that is not good. But instead of he feel bad about it, rather saying, I understand you. There's something in you that makes you feel like this, and give him the opportunity to share what's beneath it, because it's often
Right.
some kind of pain, not feeling seen or heard or whatever.
Right.
So
You know, because a lot of times when you have those situations, it's a lot like when you have someone who's been bullied, inadvertently, they then become a bully, because it's that process of being feeling like they're less. And it's not that they feel all powerful and that's why they're actually bullying people. It's actually the opposite. It's they don't feel powerful. They have low self-esteem and they feel less than, and that's why they come out the way they do, because this is a way that they can appear powerful. This is a way they can come across. And I would venture to guess, Linda, that somehow that's playing out in this situation as well, and just maybe to be mindful of that. But I want to touch on, I'm not sure if it's Dina or Dinah who works with you, Grace, and she says, hello, sweet souls. I've participated in many of Grace's remote activations, and they are so very powerful. There's always so much growth after each session. I was wondering if Grace would touch more on the work and awareness she has about the balance of the divine feminine and masculine.
Yes. I love it. That's my favorite theme. Anyway, I just touched upon it before, about the way of the divine feminine. You see, the many last thousands of years, the divine feminine was repressed, as we know through the Bible. You know, they victimized the divine feminine, and that they wanted to. I say they, you know, those in power, those that, what should I say? Those that are in power, so to say, behind the scenes, they, we were told like the divine feminine is not so trustworthy, you know, she's dependent on a man. She's like, you know, the weaker gender and all that. She's not trustworthy, you know, all the divine feminine virtues have been kind of made into something like weak or not trustworthy and so on. So everything that was more masculine was like favored, the intellect, you know. And we have been, everything in society is just like coming from that energy of the intellect, you know, that we are very much coming in that masculine energy, you know. You have to be organized, be structured, you know, all those things. We are kind of groomed to be like that from very early on, you know. You can't just you have to have structure. Yes, we do need structure, but we don't need to, we also need to be in tune with our divine feminine side, you know. And that's a thing that many people, the divine feminine has been so wounded that we have kind of we are being afraid of allowing the divine feminine to show up. Yes, because we're afraid of being judged. And again, of course, it is in the collective cellular memory from all, I mean, we know through history how the divine feminine, the witches, the medicine women, how they were haunted and persecuted, burned on the stake and all that. And that is something that is so deep within our DNA and cell memory that where we don't trust enough to speak up and to use our divine feminine gifts and power, you know, which in fact include all these spiritual cities, the intuition and all that. We've been told, oh, intuition, it's not trustworthy. This is just some kind of woo-woo, you know. We you know.
Right. So how do we bring it into balance?
Trust whatever you can hold on, you know, what is Yeah, material stuff, this spirit. So the masculine is more like this, what's material, what you can touch, and what you know, all this. So all these other things, you know, between heaven and earth that you can't see, energy and all that, which is more the divine feminine, that has been kind of condemned, or you
Right,
know,
it's been more repressed, but so how do we bring it
repressed.
into balance then? How do
Yeah.
we actually balance that?
Yes, again, we're coming back to the heart again.
Mhm.
Because the thing is, when you're, you know, in your left brain hemisphere, that's very much to do with the masculine energies, structuring, organizing, the thinking, the intellect, whereas the right side of your brain hemisphere is the intuition, it's the divine feminine side, you know. So again, it's really to be aware in your life that you bring in more of that right brain activity, more to say, and you do that by not being so much in your brain. You need to come into your heart, not trying to figure out things. Many of us, if we have a problem, we're trying to think ourselves out of the problem. Yeah. But the thing is, the mind is linear. Yes. So past and future, we only have those two things to grab onto. So if you have a lot of pain in the past and remembrance, oh, this and that went wrong, you know, you're afraid that, oh, that's might happen, and then you project that into the future. When you're in your mind, in your head, you project that into the future because you want to avoid it. And to avoid it, you try to be in charge, you try to figure out things, and that's very much the masculine. I have to be in charge, I have to be in charge here, I have to be in control. Yeah, that's a more masculine way, structuring, organizing, you know, being in charge, being in control, trying to figure out things, trying to figure out things. So in a way, you're trying to control life. You interfere, fear, F-E-A-R, interfere, it's based on fear, to avoid things. You're living in avoidance. You're going upstream instead of going downstream, you know. So when you allow the divine feminine, when you align yourself with your divine feminine, and again, it's like being present in your heart, you're bringing in more that divine feminine, and it's more like, so when you feel like, oh, I'm desperately trying to figure out things, to think my way out, to being in control, if you're in some kind of situation, you kind of just stop yourself and you feel, okay, I can see it. I'm now very much in the masculine. Now, I need to just relax now. I just need to be present in my heart and to allow life to live itself through me, to allow, instead of, I need to seek things, allow things to come to you. Say you're looking to change your living condition. You need a new house, for example. So, oh, you're out there, I need to do this and that. And you're trying to look for it, to seek for it, and to do all sorts of things. Instead, come out of your mind, come into your heart, and allow you to be found. Allow the house to come you, rather than I need to find it. I need to do something to get it. I need to figure it out.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So in that way,
Invite it
life
in.
will live itself through you. You just need to hold the divine intent, and everything will be delivered to you on a silver tray, literally, when you master that. And and that's the way of a divine feminine. And when you are aligned with the divine feminine, you're aligned with your higher power through your intuition, because that's a divine feminine virtue. So when you're aligned with your intuition, you will naturally attract things, or just be at the right place, or rather than thinking, oh, I should or go here, ought to do this and that. That's again the masculine that thinks I need to be in control. The other one is more like, I just hold the divine intent. I know I will always be in the right place and time, and things will come to me. So you're surrendering. It's like trusting, being in that faith that things will just appear when they need to appear,
Mhm.
as they need to appear. They will appear to honor whatever you hold the divine intent for. So really, it's a way of like letting go, let go and let God. That's a way of the divine feminine. Get out of the way. Your
Right.
mind, get out of the way.
Right. There's that
So
saying, it's get out of your head and into your heart. And the divine
exactly.
feminine is all about creativity and intuition.
Yeah.
And so it's when you're in your creative side, when you're creating, when you're trying to manifest, when you're doing those types of things, you're honoring the feminine side and the gentleness. And I think that's the piece where a lot of us through life have been in our heads, and you've talked about a lot of the reasons on this live about how you get into your head from things that have happened in your childhood, et cetera. So it's not too much of a stretch to think that you might be more masculine than in the feminine, and you're trying to find that balance. So it is embracing the creative side of yourself. It is listening to your intuition and the feminine side, and whatever that
surrendering.
Right, and
Yeah.
surrendering.
And really to acknowledge, really, I am not in control. I might think I am, and I struggle to try to be it, but actually you're not. That's the thing. And to just acknowledge that and just saying, okay, I can just let go, and I can just surrender, and just like, don't fight life. Life is not supposed to be difficult. Life is supposed to be easy. And if you shift to that mindset, you shift your vibration, and then you will start to you will be more like pro-life. It's not like forcing things, but just allowing, being and allowing. That's a divine feminine. Surrender, allowing,
being in the flow. Allowing
being
the
in the
flow.
cosmic flow.
Exactly.
And so giving the divine feminine more space in you, surrendering, allowing, being really present in your heart, trusting your intuition, granting her the space, giving her permission, giving her, again, give her permission. And then again, you might have to go in and look at some contracts here,
Right.
because you have maybe said, okay, I need to be in control to survive this situation. I can't allow myself just to surrender and just allow things to just come and go, or I need to be in control to survive here. So the masculine takes over. I need to step on eggshells. I need to be ahead of time. I need to control. If you're grown up in a toxic environment, where, what do I know, maybe your father or your mother, could explode anytime, so you need to tiptoeing and read the energy, and you're always ahead of time,
Right. That's so insightful. It really is.
Yeah.
So, it definitely is.
Yeah.
So Dinah says, that's beautiful. So very much gratitude to both of us for answering that question. And we are coming to the end of our time together, but I did want to basically circle back around and remind everyone, we are in some very powerful energies right now. I specifically chose the date of 11/17 for this, the start of this retreat. 117 is a big number for me. It's the master's journey, and it speaks to me. So 1117 was the perfect day for this, rolling right into the lunar eclipse, the full moon, etc. So please, everyone, please make sure you're taking good care of yourself, practicing good self-care, drinking plenty of water, grounding yourself, getting rest when you need it. And if your body is saying, I've had a little too much right now, maybe you take a step back, because these activations, these conversations are high frequency. And so while you may just feel like you're listening to two people talk, you are not. There's activations, there's high raising of your frequency throughout all of this conversation. So please be mindful of what it is exactly you need in your body. So please keep that in mind. And I'm going to take one quick look back here and see if there's anything else. There's Karen saying, beautiful, thank you. So I have so much gratitude to you, beautiful Grace, as always, my celestial sister. So I am so thankful that you have taken this time with us. And Grace, how can people reach you if they want to do any of this work? And you do so much more than just what we've discussed today, but how can they reach you if they want to do some work with you?
Yes, of course, I'm on Facebook. On Facebook as Grace Solaris. I also have a lot of the global group activations. I mean, I do post them on my Grace Solaris page, but I also I have also more stuff on my Grace Solaris Acturian High Council page.
Okay.
And that's worth mentioning because all the previous global activations that I have offered, each of them, as one of the, I can't remember who mentioned it, that said how powerful they were,
Right.
or have been, each of them are taking you to the next level. You know, you just grow every time. It empowers you, it strengthens you. I mean, on all levels. So we are working really in upgrading the DNA, this ongoing DNA activations. And all the previous activations, if you go to the page, it's like these are remote light transmissions. So it will be explained there, but you can always tune in and you can connect and just follow the procedure. And then you can receive those activations even after they happened, whether they'd happened, you know, last year, or there was one which I really recommend, the crystal skull, elongated skull activation. It is just amazing. I mean, I know so many that have told me how it has just like, it was literally like leaving the matrix. I mean, it has been to me, you know, I mean, though I have been enlightened and lived in bliss and, you know, and in my empowerment and all, it has really shifted something very profound. I really, and they didn't tell me that. That's like the extra bonus. I feel like it's just like, I'm inaccessible to the matrix actually now, you know. Before I was still, you know, awakened, my soul presence was there and all, but now it's like, I feel like I'm almost like inaccessible, you know, it really closed that timeline, the matrix. I'm out of the matrix now. And that's really amazing, you know. But just to get back to those activations, there are many activations which they are all timeless activations. They are all supporting you in your growth. And if you go into previous activations, I mean, you have to click a bit around, you'll find it, previous activations. You can go in and you can still receive them. And I really recommend you to do that. I also do them, I offer them also one-on-one. When I do them as group activations, I work more with the group field, with the Acturians and whatever. But when I do the one-on-ones, we extra, you know, we go in and we can cater it more individually to you. But basically the activation itself is the same. And then in addition, you will we'll work with whatever shows up, you know,
and so do they sign up to do that on your website?
Yeah, then they would have to, you know, reach to me on Facebook to ask me for a one-on-one activation, or if it's a session, which we can meet on Skype or on Zoom. Mostly I do it on Zoom. So you can write to me. My email address is on Facebook, but I can just share it now. It's info@graceelohim.com. info@graceelohim.com. On my website is www.graceelohim.com. Yes, there is all the different various sessions that I offer. I work with the also a lot with healing, transmutation, but also like connecting with your divine self, healing the divine feminine and masculine inner child. I also channel like name readings.
Oh,
That's
okay.
really to help you to connect with higher aspects that you need to integrate, that will really empower you, so you come into more wholeness. Because many of us have kind of signed up to embody either certain divine virtues or certain higher aspects. It might be higher aspects of angelic aspects. It might be of an ascended master that we have come to embody now, to see, carrying the
Okay.
keys and codes. So I can make a reading where I tune into which of these aspects or virtues that you can that you need to implement, integrate into your being, so you come into more wholeness, so you will get empowered and really you're coming to the next level. So there are many different sessions, so you can just visit my website, you know, or and I know many say when they get into the website, they say, oh my God, there's so much, I don't know which one. You just write to me and I'll
I was
help you
just going to say,
determine.
just reach out, because you are probably the most available and always responding to people on Facebook. So yes, friends, if you want to work with Grace, you can easily reach out to
Yeah.
her on Facebook. You can send her an email. You can go to her website. She's very, very accessible and such a lovely lady to work with. So I highly
Yes.
recommend that.
And the last thing I'll just mention is also,
Sure.
I got a SoundCloud.
Oh,
Where
yes.
there's some freebies, there's some guided meditations, healing meditations, guided meditations that are also very powerful and supportive. So again, you can find me in Grace Solaris on SoundCloud, and there are like, I don't know, 7, 8 freebies, videos, guided meditations, not videos, audios,
Audios,
guided
right. Mhm.
meditations. Yeah, so you're
Yes, you
welcome.
are very, very giving when it comes to all of the things that you offer. Even your transmissions, when you ask for a donation, they're open for free if that's not something that you can
Yeah.
afford to participate in. So you have a very kind and giving soul. So much
Yes.
gratitude to you for that. So much gratitude to you for being here with us again today. You are always so willing and amenable to doing whatever I ask. So you're so kind and sweet. I appreciate it.
Yes.
So thank you to everyone who has joined us today. Thank you for being here. And if you have any additional questions, please feel free to leave them in this feed of the live, or you can leave them actually on the event page. There's a purple block post there where you can leave any questions that you might have. And Grace has so willingly offered to be in the group a little bit and answer any questions that you might have as well in group. So please do not hesitate to leave some additional questions, and we will do our best to get
And
back.
remember to click on the free gift if you haven't seen
Yes.
it. It's right at the end of the email. There's a free gift where you can receive, and it's a meditation where you will we will transmit the angelic blueprint of your being, because we are all angelic beings. We have just
Yes.
forgotten. And this transmission that I offer, this free gift will download you, will activate these angelic codes in you and help you to align with your angelic self.
Yes,
Yes,
it's powerful.
So,
It's
yeah,
a powerful one. I loved it very much.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So feel free to do that. And
uh-huh.
thank you, Debbie, also to you. I love you very much. You're such a lovely being, and I'm so happy we got together, and I look forward to do more in future. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Much love to you as well, dear one. And
Yes,
to
thank you.
all of you, thank you. Mwah. Love you all, and much
Thank
love and
you.
many blessings until we see you again tomorrow, which tomorrow's what, Friday. So Friday at 4 p.m. is with Rob Schwartz. So looking forward to that live then also. And until then, we will see you. I will see you in the group. If there's anything I can do to answer any questions, please leave me any questions and comments. And of course, again, leave your greatest takeaway from the videos today from Grace's retreat video, as well as from this live. I'd love to know how all of that's resonating with you. Thank you, everyone. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, bye for now.
Oops.